all the information, all the evidence I
Not
need.
Mark.
No, ma'am. Your father, Carl Kelley, is responsible for setting this up, partly to have your husband killed.
I don't believe that. I had the tenant call me this morning and tell me that. I did not believe it. Thought it was another rumor.
It's not a rumor, Michelle.
There's been rumors already that...
I know. There's been thousands of rumors out there.
This is Michelle Despain. In August 24th, 2011, she walks into her home to grab some gas bills. Instead, she finds her husband, Mark, lying in a pool of blood, executed in cold blood, his skull shattered by gunfire. 6 days later, sitting across from detectives, Michelle learns a truth that destroys her world. Her own father put a price on her husband's head, $10,000 to have him killed. But that's only the beginning, because over hours of chilling interrogation, Michelle reveals secrets that change everything. A hidden affair, thousands of dollars siphoned away, and the ultimate betrayal. Without realizing it or not, Michelle had been financing her husband's execution. Every dollar stolen from their marriage was paying the very men who would pull the trigger. Was she a willing accomplice, or just a pawn in a diabolical plan? Buckle up. What you're about to see will stay with you for a long time. But first, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing how far this community reaches. Welcome to Caseborne.
You get to your house. I don't know what's better difficult, but when you get there, can you just take me from there, please?
I don't even know what it was now. But yeah, because I didn't see it at first because it was dark, and I thought he's upstairs. And then I started walking, and I saw, I looked over, there was stuff on the floor, and I looked over, and he was laying in the floor. And I couldn't see his face because he was kind of looking this way, but there was some blood all behind his back, running all the way back behind him.
Yes, ma'am.
And I screamed his name, and I went over there and I kind of nudged his leg, and I screamed his name again, and he didn't move at all. And I got scared because there was stuff in the floor. I thought somebody might still be in the house. And so I ran back over and pushed one of the buttons on the alarm thing because that calls immediately.
Yes.
And then I ran out to my neighbor's house and called 911 while I was running over there. And nobody's home. I couldn't find any of my neighbor's home. But called 911, and then they let me call my dad and my mom and my friend and my boss.
Had you called 911 first, or do you recall? And there's sometimes people do in those type of situations. I've had people that will call their best friend and tell them, do you recall the...
No, I pushed the button on the alarm, and I don't even know which one I pushed it. Now I think I pushed the wrong one because I think there's one for an ambulance and one for police, and I didn't push the right one. I don't think because the ambulance took forever. And all the police came, but no, I pushed that button, and then I was running out the garage.
Yes, ma'am.
And called 911 while I was running out the garage.
Okay.
Like 3 police got there before the ambulance, and I think I pushed the wrong button.
Do you recall, Michelle? I'll give you a moment if you need.
I'm sorry, it's okay.
No, ma'am, don't apologize. There's no need to apologize, please.
It just doesn't seem real, because when I went back in the house last night, everything was clean. So it was like it's where he was, so it was clean, so it was like it didn't really happen. Because I only got to see him for a split second.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we step into the breakdown of this disturbing interrogation, let me set the stage for the family tragedy that shook Arkansas back in 2011. And keep the name straight, because in this story, every single one matters. Mark Despain was 34 years old, a real estate appraiser who worked from home in Jonesboro. Married to Michelle for 15 years, father of 3. On the outside, they looked like the perfect suburban family. Michelle had been raised by her stepfather, Carl Kelley. She had called him Dad since childhood. Carl was 68, disabled, surviving on government benefits, and often helped the couple by collecting rent from their properties. But beneath the surface, the family was fractured. 3 years before the murder, in 2008, a devastating incident had torn them apart. Jack Despain, Mark's biological father, sexually assaulted Brooke, Michelle's adopted daughter. Mark immediately cut all ties with his parents and stood firmly by his child. The rupture in the extended family was permanent. Then came August 24th, 2011. Mark stayed home working when he was ambushed inside his own kitchen. He was shot multiple times, an execution, not a robbery. No forced entry, nothing stolen. Later that afternoon, Michelle returned briefly to grab some bills, only to find her husband lying in a pool of blood. She called 911 in panic, but something about the scene felt wrong. Detectives soon discovered the truth. This wasn't random violence. It was a hit. The trail of text messages and phone records led directly back to Carl Kelley, the very man Michelle considered her father. He had promised thousands of dollars to 2 accomplices, Terrence Barker and Johnny Hubbard, to kill Mark. The motive was money and control. Carl believed that if Mark was gone, Michelle would receive life insurance benefits and continue supporting him financially. But investigators also uncovered Michelle's own secrets: a younger lover, cash withdrawals, and financial transfers that tied her closer to the scheme than she admitted.
Let's go back to this tragic day, okay? I have all the evidence I need. I have witnesses. Both of the individuals tell me that they talked to your father. How much he's supposed to pay them. Everything else. The whole 9 yards. I've got your dad's truck in the neighborhood. I've got your dad's truck there. I've got a gentleman that sees your truck, your dad's truck parked. They're talking to the murderer that killed your husband in cold blood. And then he sees him at the crime scene later. So you can see where I'm coming from, how important it is for us to go back and rehash what transpired that morning, okay? Can you go back and rehash the events from that morning with me, Michelle?
I didn't go to the house that morning.
Okay. What I'm
It
trying.
was that afternoon.
It was that afternoon when you went down there. Okay. This is what I need to do, okay? I need to start from the time, and like I said, with your father and everything, I need to go back. We need to go back to that day, as tragic as it is, okay? And I need to know of how the events unfolded and stuff like that, okay? So start me off, if you can. Let's start off that morning at approximately whenever you left the house to go to work.
Probably about 8:30.
Okay. Are you able to look up at me and talk to me? Because it's kind of hard to hear you.
It was probably about 8:30 because I was running late and I told my boss I would go get donuts, and it was about between 8:30 and 9 when I got to work.
Okay. So you get there at work at 8:30 to 9 o'clock at work. Had the kids already left for school? Okay. And Mark was still there? Okay. Okay.
I ready to go to inspection.
Okay. And did he tell you where that inspection was at?
Mm-mm.
Didn't know? Okay. That's all right. From 8:30 to 9 o'clock, you arrived sometime during that time. What transpires during the day from there? Normal work day or what?
It was a normal work day. My dad did come see me, but he comes and sees me at work often.
What time did he come and see you?
Before lunch.
Don't know what time. How long did he stay? Very long?
He stayed a little while. He comes and sees me often.
What did he want?
Nothing. He was in town to bring rent money. He didn't really want anything.
Okay. And you don't know what time that was that morning or anything?
Mm-mm.
Now, he only shows up one time that morning
And
before you see him again at lunch or what?
Mhm.
Okay. So, let's see. You remember how long he stayed?
Mm-mm.
No? You remember what he talked about?
We talked about my sister some. She's having a baby in January.
Right.
Nothing specific.
Okay, nothing specific, okay. And then did you see him any more that morning?
Not before lunch.
Not before lunch, okay.
Mm-mm.
Did he just leave from your office there by Cynthia, or
Mhm.
he just walked out from there?
Mhm.
Okay. Did you ever go downstairs? Did you walk him out or anything? Do you remember?
Sometimes I walk him out, so I might have.
Okay. Might have
I
walked
don't
him.
know if I did that day, but sometimes I do.
So anyway, after that, your father leaves. He's only in town to pay rent, is that, or give you rent money?
As far as I know.
Okay. Okay. Would he ever pay you the rent money?
Mark had taken over all that and wanted to start getting it himself.
Uh-huh. When was that?
That he took it over,
Yes, ma'am.
like maybe April.
April of this year?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And then, what transpires from there, Michelle?
I went to lunch with Mark.
And that was at what time?
I went to TJ Maxx first. I don't remember if I checked the mail that day. I usually go to the post office and check the mail.
So you would left about what time?
Maybe about 12, probably about 12, because I went to TJ Maxx, and then I was meeting Mark at 12:30.
Okay, so you're supposed to be marked at 12:30,
Mm-hmm.
and that was at the taco or the Mexican
Blue Coast.
Blue Cross burrito, okay. Did you get anything at TJ Maxx that you remember?
Bought some shoes.
Okay. And then from there, you say that you went over and you met Mark at 12:30, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Any time before that, to your best of your recollection, did your father call you?
Yeah, he called. He did call or text. He calls and texts me every day,
Okay.
all day.
So he call you by phone, by your cell phone, or would he call you on the bank phone, or do you know?
Both.
Both?
Most of the time, my cell phone.
Okay. And then from Blue Cross burrito, y'all go over across the street, to the best of my recollection, once you told me the first time.
Local culture.
Local culture, okay. Sit outside. Okay. Okay. And then you leave. Do you happen to remember when you left or anything from that point? Or whenever y'all were in separate vehicles, you said, I remember you telling me that the first time.
I think it's about 1:30.
About 1:30. So y'all leave and go your separate ways there. And Mark was going where?
Home.
Okay. Back to work.
And Dad did ask me if he where he was.
I'm sorry, I couldn't
Dad
understand.
did ask me where he was.
When?
Sometime at lunch, Dad, he asked me where Mark was.
He stopped by there or he called?
He texted me or called me.
Your dad calls you, or your dad texts or calls and asks where Mark's at?
Yeah, but that's not unusual. He would.
What did you respond to your dad? Do you remember?
I mean, I told him where we were eating lunch.
So you knew where y'all were at. They knew that you were eating lunch there. Do you remember, were y'all at Blue Cross Burrito, or was y'all over at the yogurt place by then?
I don't remember.
Do you remember saying anything to Mark about your dad texting, wondering where he was at?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
You remember that?
I
Okay.
mean, it's all not unusual for, because Dad does a lot of work for Mark.
Yeah. So anyway, y'all leave at 1:30, you're in separate vehicles. You take off, and you said sometime during that time that your dad had texted or called you and asked you where Mark was. Okay.
But he knew it. I told him we were eating at Blue Coast Burrito.
When did you tell him that?
I don't know, because it wasn't when he was there, because I didn't know where we were eating yet.
Okay. He hadn't been, I think didn't you tell me in the first time that we spoke that he hadn't been invited? Sometimes he would come eat with y'all, but y'all hadn't invited him that day or something like that?
Because we hadn't ate lunch very much together lately, because the kids have been home for summer, and I didn't invite him.
Okay.
Sometimes he invites himself.
Sure. I think all parents do that, don't they? Okay. Was he wanting to know where y'all ate, or why would that even come up in conversation? Why?
That's just not unusual. He just kind of asks what we're doing all day, every day, all the time.
Trying to stay in meddling. Well, I hate to say the word meddling, but my mom likes to know things too, so I understand. So y'all leave approximately 1:30, you think? Y'all's in separate vehicles, and I believe the first time, did you go which way now? Back to?
We went down Stadium and turned right on Nettleton.
Both of you did? Both of y'all turned right on Nettleton? Okay. Is that a normal route for Mark to go home on? Okay.
All the way down to Southwest Drive.
Okay. I guess it's kind of just straight shot and straight down to y'all's house, isn't it? Mark in front of you, behind you, do you remember?
Behind me.
Behind you, okay. And then, what from there?
Dad called me and said he was feeling sick because he hadn't had lunch. He's really bad diabetic.
Is that unusual for him to call you and tell you that? He called and said that.
I'm telling you, he calls me all the time.
He called and said that he was sick because he hadn't had lunch.
Well, I mean, he just called me, and that came up in conversation. That came up because then I said, well, I'm right here by Arby's, and I'll get you some sandwiches, and you can come by the bank.
Okay.
From there, the detective starts laying out his cards, one by one. Eyewitnesses. Carl Kelley's truck spotted in the neighborhood. Direct contact with the shooters. He leaves no room to breathe. No space for denial. And then comes the bombshell. They already have the man that shot your husband and the gentleman that drove him in custody. This isn't fishing for answers anymore. The case is locked down. Michelle, though, clings to a single phrase. I don't believe that. Over and over, like a shield. It's a psychological defense. When reality is unbearable, the mind just rejects it. But listen closely to her tone. There's no collapse, no sobbing, no outrage. Just cold, flat denial. The most telling moment is when the detective mentions that Carl Kelley had been asking about Mark's whereabouts at lunchtime. Michelle jumps in to smooth it over. That's not unusual. He just kind of asks what we're doing all day. But think about that. Why would a father-in-law need to know his son-in-law's exact schedule on the very day he was murdered? That detail wasn't casual. It was crucial. It gave the killers the timing they needed. And here's what really stands out. Michelle doesn't show fear for herself or her kids. If your father were truly capable of ordering a hit, wouldn't your first thought be, am I next? Are my children safe? But she doesn't ask for protection, doesn't worry about threats. That silence says a lot. The detective, meanwhile, is in full control. He alternates between shocking revelations and direct, pressing questions. It's classic Reed technique. Keep the psychological pressure high. Never let the suspect regain footing, force them into contradictions or eventual admissions. At this point, Michelle has just been told that the man who raised her may be a murderer. But the investigators aren't done. Up ahead, we're going to learn about Carl Kelley's real motives, and even more unsettling, the secrets Michelle herself has been hiding. Because one haunting question still lingers. What could drive a father to have his daughter's husband killed?
He never touched you or anything. Has he ever been physical with you in the past? Never.
No.
Were you physical with him that night at all?
I mean, I tried to get my phone out of his hand, but it wasn't like real physical.
Because I know the text come from his phone.
From his phone?
Mm-hmm.
From Mark's phone?
Yes, ma'am.
No, he forwarded it to himself the next day.
Forwarded to himself the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How did Mark get all those scratches all over his face, Michelle?
He didn't have any scratches on his face at lunch.
None at lunch.
Mm-mm.
You're absolutely positive of that? And there was none on him at lunch or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
You worried your daughter heard the argument and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And has she told you since?
Since last Wednesday?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-mm.
But you're aware that she knew about the fight that night?
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, what was posted on Facebook and everything else sounded like a pretty good one.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, she's a 16-year-old girl. She's dramatizes everything.
Understand.
Hates her life, hates me one day, hates him one day.
I understand. Sorry, it was my wife. I have to get some of those texts. You know, I have to read them. Besides you and Mark and Brooke, I don't know about the boys. Besides you three, did anybody else know about the argument that y'all had that night? That was pretty.
My dad and Cynthia.
Your dad and Cynthia knew about it. How'd your dad know?
Because I told her.
Do you recall what you told him, Michelle?
That he had woke up and that guy had texted me. And that then he thought that I was, he grabbed my phone and I tried to get my phone back and that we just argued.
Right. Did you ever tell your dad that he was physically abusive to you in any way, shape, form, or fashion?
Mm-mm.
Never. Had your dad ever seen any bruises on you that from Mark that he may have been told was from Mark or anything like that? I mean, I don't know, I was not there.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I bruise easily. My desk bruises my legs all the time. But Mark was never physical. Not abuse, physically abusive.
Is there any reason why your father would believe that he was physically abusive to you? Was he ever pissed at Mark? Did they ever raise hell with one another?
Mm-mm.
Never?
I mean, not, probably not ever.
Right,
But not.
right.
That would be very unusual.
Help me here, because I'm trying to figure out here. There's something. There's got to be more than something here, Michelle, because your dad has hired to pay people to kill Mark, your husband. He hired people to kill your husband. He couldn't do that.
He couldn't do that to my kids.
You know what else? And I'll tell you, I mean, because I know you're sitting there going, he can't do that and everything else. If I wasn't in bad shape, I'd kill the motherfucker myself. If I wasn't in such bad health, I'd kill the motherfucker myself. Or I'll pay somebody to do it. Those are words out of your dad's mouth.
Man.
On several different occasions.
To who? Sorry, I haven't had anything to eat.
That's all right.
Who did he say that to?
You know where the money was coming from? To be paid. Insurance money. Michelle, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you exactly what I know, okay? Listen, I can tell you exactly what I know. I can tell you exactly that I have so much evidence that we have, everybody that's worked on this, which has been numerous investigators. I'm not going to lie to you. I normally don't use that type of language, but I want you to know exactly what has been said, okay? Do I feel like and do I want to go into every small intricate detail that I know? No, I don't, okay? Part of that is to save you from maybe a little bit of anguish or whatever, but I know a whole lot. I have executed, and other officers, other detectives here, we have executed more search warrants out of this particular case than any case that I can ever think of in the many years that I've been doing this. Looking at all aspects of it. And it was wide open. Like I told you before, I've thrown a huge net. That net has gotten really closed. And it's to the point to where it's, some of the fish have been caught. Some of the fish are still to be caught. Can I give you just a second to think on that? Just to think on me. You don't need a second to think on it? Your father hiring someone to kill somebody, to kill your husband, of what, 15 years? Almost 15 years. $7 to 10 stacks. 7 to 10 stacks. That's what he was going to pay me.
What is stacks?
Thousands. Your dad don't have that kind of money, does he?
Mm-mm.
No, ma'am. He don't.
We've just witnessed one of the most chilling moments of this interrogation. Investigators finally revealed Carl Kelley's true murderous intentions, and what emerges is the portrait of a man consumed by hate. It starts with that troubling question about Mark's injuries. How did Mark get all those scratches all over his face? Michelle replies that he had no injuries at lunch, which means those marks appeared sometime between lunch and the murder. That suggests either a struggle or pre-death violence that Michelle chooses not to mention. It's a revealing detail, proof she isn't telling the full story about Mark's final hours. But the real shock comes when the detective lays out Carl Kelley's exact threats. If I wasn't in bad shape, I'd kill the bastard myself. If I wasn't in such bad health, I'd kill the bastard myself, or I'll pay somebody to do it. Those aren't words said in passing or out of anger. That's a clear, calculated statement of intent. And what's striking is the coldness behind it. Kelley had already weighed his options. Either kill Mark himself or outsource the job. His failing health pushed him toward the second option. That's pure premeditation. Then comes the revelation of the contract price, between $7,000 and $10,000. that throws us straight into the grim economy of contract killing. For Kelley, Mark's life was worth no more than a used car. Sadly, that figure lines up with the going rate in America's black market for hired hits. Take the Dahlia DiPolito case in 2009. She paid only $3,000 to have her husband killed. Or Pamela Smart in 1990. She manipulated teenagers into murdering her husband, offering just a few $1,000s as incentive. But here's the big question. Where did the money come from? Kelley lived on disability payments and collected rent for Mark and Michelle. The detective pushed on that point. Your dad don't have that kind of money, does he? Michelle's answer was short, almost dismissive. No, ma'am. That simple reply hides something much darker. The money had to come from somewhere. The truth. Kelley had direct access to the couple's rental income. Michelle herself admitted he handled around $1,000 a week. Over time, he could easily skim off enough to fund the murder. In other words, Mark's own money was used to finance his assassination. Psychologically, Kelley fits the mold of a cowardly yet calculating mastermind. Why not act himself? Because outsourcing the murder gave him two advantages. First, his health wouldn't stand in the way. And second, it gave him an alibi. By showing up at the crime scene quickly after the body was found, he could play the role of the worried father-in-law. It's a classic strategy among contract killers. Look like the least likely suspect. This revelation, his explicit threats, his willingness to put a price on Mark's life, completely reframes the case. We're no longer looking at impulsive rage. This was cold, careful planning. Kelley had a motive, the money, the hired guns. All he needed was the timing and the exact location. And who gave him that? Michelle. By telling her father where she and Mark had lunch and when he'd be back home, she handed him the key information he needed. Whether she realized it or not, she helped set the trap.
Michelle, I'm going to ask you, and I don't know how else to ask you, but just straight out, did you have anything to do with the murder of your husband?
No, sir. I would not want to do it.
And that does not conclude my investigation. It's not going to stop there, Michelle.
What do you mean?
I'm not done until I get everything taken care of, until I close this case out, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to see it through all the way till the end. I take pride in doing this, doing the work I do and everything else. But your dad is now in cuffs, and he will be on his way up here. He is in custody. He is aware that he is being charged with first-degree murder right now.
I don't believe it. I don't need it.
Now we understand why the detective kept pressing Michelle, almost obsessively, to see if she was hiding something. On the surface, her story sounded unbelievable. A loving wife who suddenly discovers her own father orchestrated her husband's murder purely out of greed. But underneath, the cracks were obvious, especially once you factor in her secret affair. The detective's gut feeling was right all along. Her repeated denial, "I just don't believe it," became less convincing every time she said it. An innocent person would have asked questions, demanded details, maybe even broken down in tears. Michelle, she just repeated the same flat line, like a broken record. And then, after the interrogations, the truth finally came out in court. Terrence Barker, the shooter, pled guilty to first-degree murder and got 35 years in prison. Carl Kelley, the mastermind, also pled guilty to first-degree murder and received 35 years. Johnny Hubbard, the accomplice, pled guilty to obstruction of justice and drug-related probation violations. And then there's Michelle Despain. In 2014, 3 years after these interrogations, she accepted a plea deal. She pled guilty to 3 counts of hindering apprehension, avoiding a capital murder trial. Her sentence, 30 years in prison, with no chance to appeal. That sentence confirmed what so many suspected. Michelle wasn't the grieving widow she tried to play. She was part of the plot. Those long hours in the interrogation room weren't the cries of an innocent woman. They were a performance, an attempt to protect herself. The investigators had read her perfectly. Her behavior, her reactions, her selective silence, it all pointed to guilt. The fact that she funneled money to her lover, money that eventually funded the hit, wasn't just an accident. It was part of the bigger picture. This case reveals a lot about criminal psychology. First, how family ties can be twisted into tools of manipulation. Carl Kelley exploited his role as Michelle's father figure to drag her into the conspiracy. Second, how greed remains one of the most powerful motives. Between Mark's life insurance policy and the chance to live freely with her lover, Michelle had her own reasons to want him gone. And third, how interrogations often reveal more than words. The silences, the deflections, the lack of genuine emotion. Seasoned detectives know how to read those subtle cues. But in the middle of all this scheming and betrayal, we can't forget the real victim, Mark Despain. He was only 40, a father of 3, working from home when armed men walked in and executed him in cold blood. He should have been able to grow old, to watch his children thrive, to meet his grandchildren someday. Instead, he was sacrificed on the altar of family greed. So let me ask you, did you spot Michelle's guilt from that very first interrogation? Were the red flags obvious to you? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let me know where you're watching from. And if you want more deep dive breakdowns of criminal interrogations, don't forget to subscribe. Justice, in the end, was served. It took time, but Mark's children finally learned the truth about their father's death. And that truth means his memory can finally rest in peace.